first. We'll talk about that here as the race gets underway. Fifth Avenue Mile, the racing underway for the elite women as they start at East 80th Street and head down towards the finish line on 60th.
Well, that was a nice clean start. I was worried someone might slip. We saw some of that in some of the earlier races, but everyone got off the line. I felt like they were all a little timid, but once now they found their footing, and now we're starting to see them get comfortable on that road, get comfortable with the slickness underneath their feet, and the racing begins.
Number of the athletes on this list that we just showed you haven't run a road mile, haven't run here in New York, and because this is just point to point, we've talked to the athletes over the years, one of the biggest things they got to gear up for is the finish line comes into view pretty early in this race, but it's not as close as you think.
Yeah, we were at the technical meeting last night, Paul, and the meet director was reminding them, hey, it's not as close as you think. There's still a long way to run. So I do think that this is a race where the more times you come back, the more you really learn this course. But it's not a perfectly flat race, Paul. Typically, the first quarter is downhill, and then they climb up for the second quarter, and then the second half is relatively flat.
As we mentioned, some of these athletes have been in Europe racing post the World Championships, and it's going to be true for both the men and the women that you have somebody who's got legs that have been gashed by European training, a day to regroup, because that Brussels race was just on Friday, and here it is Sunday, and they're trying to win here in New York.
And all those athletes ran really well. Tanaka broke her own Japanese national record in the 5,000 meters. And it's just incredible to see these women hop on a plane and get here and get in this race and fight to finish high here.
It's Tanaka's 28th race of the year. She is near in picture on the far right side of your screen now. Kayla Edwards now trying to move ahead, and there is a halfway prize here. $1,000 to the leader at the halfway mark, but they say you have to be honest because you got to finish under 4:32 to win that bonus.
Absolutely. So we see Kayla Edwards, she kind of pushed through that half mile and she immediately let off the gas. So as long as she runs under 4:32 by the finish, she will get that halfway bonus. And we see Hiltz now really coming into our picture, Paul. They're starting to be shown. They were kind of hiding in the back in that first half, but now they're moving up. They love this race.
See Danny Jones in the mix there, back in fourth position, but now a trio up in front. Gemma Ricci, who's won this race before, Hall in her very first road mile appearance, and perhaps has to be the one who has the inexperience of what it feels like in the second half of this race, because that view of 60th is now coming into view.
Yeah, this is where experience will really come into play. But remember, Hull races so much. So yes, the surface is different and the course is different, but she knows her body so well. And they do have markings on the course. They'll see the 3/4 mark. They'll see 400 to go. They'll see 200 to go. So she will have an indication. But we see Ricci really pushing now.
Ellie St. Pierre's in that mix, though, losing a little bit of traction with the lead group. And now you can see Hull going to the arms. Ricci looks very composed and ready to run, and Nikki Hiltz trying to stay in it as well.
Hiltz has got to shuffle up right now. They can't let them get any more space, but Ricci looks very relaxed, Paul. You are correct. She looks just like she's floating right now, like she has more in the tank if she needs it.
From this head-on shot, it's hard to see how many are still in the mix for this championship. Into the last quarter mile here. Everybody in full stride. Ricci, Hiltz, and Healy. And here comes Healy on the inside, challenging Ricci. And now Ricci back to the lead. Into the final strides, Gemma Ricci's coming back to New York and wins another Fifth Avenue mile.
That was a great race out of Gemma Ricci. She really planned that well. She didn't get caught up in anything early. She protected her position, and she knew when to move. She's now a two-time winner of this Fifth Avenue mile. Great race for her.
And a quick one, 4:19.
Your heart is frozen. The water is rising and I'm just a drop in the ocean. Drop in the ocean.